Just the fact that doctors were just drugging me up by giving me pain pills and not explaining things to me and just wanting to see me and take my money and,
I've had chronic headaches throughout my life since I was a teenager.
High blood pressure, I had COPD.
Because I was getting tremors, tingling, burning sensations. And
I had had cancer twice.
I spent many years on heavy medication.
Heavy psychotic medications and then pain management on top of it.
Inflammation on my face and the back of my head. My vision was off. My heart would be racing. There was a lot of different things going on.
I walked into the office and I knew immediately that it was different.
Within the first week of my care, I was able to get off my sleeping pills, and I have not ever looked back.
Which I lost about 40 pounds.
My headache was gone, the eyeball ache was gone, the inflammation was going down.
I was pretty much headache-free.
About 6 months later, I was off of all that medication.
I was like, wow, oh my gosh, and I was just blown away by it.
The headache's the symptom. It's not the problem.
Eating right and doing your exercises and getting your adjustments really works.
He says, you're coming back. I am. I'm coming back.
she's a completely different person, to be honest.
So I'm going to be giving you guys some amazing information today, and honestly I'm excited because if you take this information, you start to apply it to your life. I'm going to give you the resources and put those in your hands, and I'm really excited too for the support you guys are going to be getting. Okay, so but if you come here with an open heart and open mind and really apply this information, I know it can absolutely change your life. Okay, so we're going to be going over a lot of things about not just weight loss, but really health, overall health as well. Because it's not just about the scale, it's about being healthy. It's about the function of your body. So we're going to be going over hormones, nutrition, fitness, and all sorts of things. So I'm excited for you guys. But, you know, I want to start off right away with testimony because this is Kayla, and her story is actually in the cruise ship book there, if you guys have that one. But this is Kayla. She's 32. She's a mother of 4, and she had tried everything for 6 years. She kind of did the yo-yo diet thing, and she was trying everything. She'd lose a little bit of weight, and she'd gain it all back and then some. And you know, how many people have you've done that before, right? Yeah. So she was frustrated. She tried everything. And what she said, though, is that I sat in my first Maximize Living makeover with eyes wide open. It was the most life-changing information I ever heard. And began to apply these principles, the same things that you guys are going to be learning to apply to your life. And now she's lost over 100 pounds. And, you know, the biggest thing for her, and what you're going to find is that one of the biggest things is you have to have a really big reason why you're doing this, okay? Because if you just want to lose 20 pounds, that's not going to cut it, okay? I can promise you that. But for her, you know, she was looking at her life and she was not able to ride bikes or go sledding with her kids, and it made her realize she had to make a change, okay? She realized this isn't what God wanted for her. This isn't what she wanted to have for her life and with her kids. So, but the awesome thing is that really you guys are no different, okay? I don't know where you're coming at from today. Maybe you're an expert on nutrition or fitness or something like that, and you're just looking to get some more information, or you're looking to get the motivation, support, and the resources in your hand. Or maybe, some of you guys, you've already tried everything and you feel like that and you just feel like nothing's worked before. But I guarantee we're going to have some great information, and it works. It just works. When you start, it's going to be principles, okay? It's principles I'm going to teach you, and it just works. So I can promise you, though, that it's be any type of fad diet or anything like that, okay? These are things that they've been tried and they've been tested, and it's based on science, okay? So the awesome thing is that, science kind of changes and stuff like that, and we used to think the world was flat, remember? And so as we come along, science actually changes and the things that we believe is true. So I'm going to teach you the principles, but the great thing is that they are backed by science, okay? And that's what we want to see is principles, and then backing them up with science so that we understand more about how they work and how you can apply them to your life. But these nutrition programs, these fitness programs, they've been used on Olympic athletes and families and people all across the whole country here. Just so you guys know, there's tens of thousands of people going through a makeover just like this today, all across the whole country. And so literally tens of thousands of people are having their lives changed as well. So when you look at these statistics, I want to talk about this because this is something we really you have to be mature about it. You really do. I mean, it's not, I don't put this up to freak anybody out or anything, but we're adults and we have to be absolutely mature about these statistics, because when you look at them and you read them, they're hitting pretty heavy. And when I know, when I look at this, when God made you, He knit you together for a specific purpose, okay? I don't know a whole lot about knitting, okay? But I do know that typically when you start knitting something, you already have its intended purpose in mind, okay? You don't start knitting and then be like, oh, what did I make, You start knitting with an intended purpose. So when you start knitting a sweater, you know that what you're knitting is going to someday be used as a sweater. And I think it's the same thing with what God had for our lives as well. When He knit you together, He made you for a specific purpose that only you can fulfill. And I know that one thing for certain is that you have to be healthy if you're going to fulfill that purpose. But when you look at these statistics, I really don't think that this is what God had in mind. I really don't. I mean, we're now looking at 63% of Americans are overweight, 35% are obese. Heart disease deaths in the U.S., one person dies of heart disease every 34 seconds. Every 34 seconds, there's somebody dying of heart disease here in the U.S., and it's gotten out of control. 60% of 15 to 19-year-olds already have plaque building up in their arteries. 60% of teenagers already have plaque in their arteries. Cancer, 1,500 people die every single day. Every single day, 1,500 people are dying of cancer. And 3,400 new cases are diagnosed every single day. Okay, every single day. Now, let me just ask you, how many of you want this for your kids? When you look at those numbers, how many of you would want that for your kids? No, and guess what? God doesn't want that for you either. Okay, you are His kids, and He doesn't want that for you either. So you got to know that He's just looking down on this, and He's saying, and it hurts, right? It hurts. And but all these things here, all the research shows it's lifestyle induced. It's almost completely preventable, and it's what you're doing, the decisions and actions that you're making every single day that's going to determine it. So who you're going to be 20 years from now, or who your kids are going to be 20 years from now, is because of the action decisions that you're making in your life right now today. Okay, you got to start here with the end in mind. Okay. It's a lifestyle caused that epidemic. And you look at this, more than 25 million Americans now have diabetes. Here's the crazy thing though. Okay, so 25% of those that are diabetic, here in the US right now, they're diabetic and they don't even know it. 25%. It's already going on, it's already started, it's happening, the disease is building inside their bodies right now and they don't even know it. And the statistics are getting absolutely out of control. There's 1.9 million new cases just in 2010. Just in 2010. And I was looking up some of the numbers on this, and just from a financial aspect, what they say is that the average person, if you're diagnosed with diabetes at age 50, the average person is going to spend over $170,000 from age 50 to death taking care of their diabetes. If you're diagnosed at age 30, that's over $300,000 average. That's what they found. And so I took those numbers and I took it, I would start, this was just blowing my mind, and I took and made some calculations, because the average person with diabetes too, your life expectancy, if you have diabetes, your life expectancy is 10 years less, okay? So I looked at that, and that $300,000, instead of spending that on diabetes, if you took and you invested that money, okay, by the time from 30 to the time you retired, that would be over $3.5 million, okay? Then not only that, I looked at that and I took it and extended life for the lifespan for another 10 years. And if you were making those same investments, instead of spending on diabetes, making those same investments by the time you hit the average age of death, that would be over $28 million. $28 million. I mean, it just blew my mind. It just blew my mind when I started looking at those numbers. And how many of you, instead of leaving a giant hospital bill with your kids, you'd like to leave $28 million with them? Yeah, I mean, that's pretty easy. So you've been lied to, and this is the thing that it's like our scapegoat. It's our excuse to be lazy, right? Is we blame it on our genes. And it's like, well, we don't want to work hard or whatever. And we lie to ourselves all the time. Well, my mom was fat, my mom had diabetes, or my dad had heart disease and cancer, and so, you know what, it doesn't matter what I do because it's in my genes, and that's absolutely not true. It's absolutely not true. We've mapped out the whole human genome, okay? We've already done that. It's been done for many years, and we can't find the cause of disease in the genes because it's not there. It's not the genes, it's your lifestyle. So there's now come about a whole new field of study. It's called epigenetics, okay? Have you guys heard of that before? Epigenetics. What it is a whole field of study about what is influencing your genes to express or not express, okay? What is influencing it? And it's huge. So nutrition is one of the biggest things that you can find to be a genetic impactor and to influence those epigenetics. So this is an amazing study, and they prove this here, is they have these rats with the agouti gene, which, by the way, they found in humans as well. They have this agouti gene, and all the rats can come out yellow and fat, and they eat like crazy, okay? And so they're like, okay, well, this is our fat gene, right? And but they did research, and all that they did was during pregnancy, they supplemented their diets with B12 and folate. That was it. Just one little change in there during the pregnancy. And instead of the yellow, fat, hungry rats that eat all the time, they started having normal, brown, skinnier rats. Okay? So absolutely, even though the agouti gene was in there, it wasn't being expressed because of the epigenetic factors. Even though this rat here has the same gene, it's not being expressed, okay? So absolutely, your genes don't write your destiny, okay? God writes your destiny. And don't ever use that excuse again. And so the good news is that you're not a goose. So, because, what makes us so unique, and what makes our life philosophy just so amazing, and what makes us as humans so amazing, is our ability to think and make decisions and act on those and come up with ideas. And so we're not just bound to our instincts, okay? When you look at a goose, its instinct is to fly south, okay? Whether south is great or not, that's its instinct. When winter comes, it flies south, and that's its instinct. And so us as humans, we don't always have to go south. We can go north, west, east, whatever. It doesn't matter. We can go any direction. Okay, so the thing is that you don't have to keep falling back in the same bad patterns that you've lived your whole life to get you where you are right now. Okay, you don't have to fall back to that. You have the power and the ability to make those changes and to say, nope, from this moment forward, I'm not going back there anymore, and I'm stepping forward into a new, better life. Okay, a new, better life. So you're not a goose. Everybody go ahead and say that. Say, I'm not a goose on 3. 1, 2, 3. I am not a goose. Awesome. All right. Okay, good. So take advantage of the molecular research that's come along. You know, what we'll find is that weight loss and obesity comes down to one simple fact, in that it's actually all about your hormones such as insulin, leptin, cortisol, and the others. Okay, so we're going to be going through these throughout the day. Okay, and so everybody, you have your folders, and in there we have the lose to win. Did everybody get pens too, by the way? So you can take copious notes. You need to take copious notes. So we have the lose to win packet here, and this is your challenge packet. It gives you literally tons of support to help you throughout your day. It gives you bits and pieces of wisdom. This is something you should, for at least the first week, you should be reading through these principles every single day. Okay? But it gives you this awesome accountability calendar, so that you can actually go through, check off when you did the workout. You can make notes about things that you want to change for next time you work out. What was good, what was bad. You know, I need to go out and I need to, you know, buy some running shoes or something like that. You know, whatever it is that you need to do to keep getting better. You can make notes about how you feel. What did you feel? Okay. So that is all here for you. And then also then there's recipes in the back here for you guys to try out. Because one of the hardest parts is, you know, it's the resources. You need the resources to really be a success. So, but everybody, so I'm excited because I've done these seminars a bunch of times, and I've gotten this information out to a lot of people, and they've seen some great change. But I'm really excited because this is the first time ever that I've actually followed up with so much support. We have a 28-day challenge. We're going to do weigh-ins. We're going to have Shop with the Doc. We're going to have recipe nights for you guys, and weigh-outs and celebration. And so it's just such an amazing support for you guys as well. So, but we're going to do a pledge right now. So I want everybody to take a second here and actually write down your name and pledge that you're going to make this successful. You're going to do this challenge, and you're going to sign your life away on this. Good? So, yeah, because who doesn't want an easier, healthier life that's ultimately more fulfilling? I've never met anybody that doesn't want that, okay? Nobody says, you know what, I could use a little bit more sickness and disease, and I wish I was more miserable, okay? Nobody wants that. So we're going to give you the resource and support to do that. But it all starts right here with the 5 essentials. So that's the great news, is that every problem that you walked in here with today, the answer is right inside of you. It's already inside of you. Any health condition that you've walked in here today with, any symptom, it doesn't matter what it is, the answer is already inside you. Don't blame your genes. Don't blame those things. The answer is inside you. It's these 5 essentials. Because you know, you were created with an amazing ability to heal and be well. God didn't forget anything when He made you, and when He knit you together, He didn't forget anything. He didn't leave out vaccines and drugs. Okay, He didn't leave those things out. He didn't forget that and say, "Oh, whoops! Please, could you fix this for me?" You know, that's not what happened. Everything that you need to be healthy is already right inside you. You've been given that. Health is your birthright. It's your birthright, and so if you're not healing, if you're if you're given this amazing power for your heart to beat, your lungs to breathe, all those things, and it's not happening, okay, then you need to ask yourself why. And this is huge, right? Because something is interfering with it. Something is interfering with it. Something's blocking your body from healing and being well. And that's what we need to do. It's either deficiency or it's toxicity, and it's blocking it. But if you want to be successful, and you know, it all starts with the mind. Like I said, it starts with a big why. Okay, you have to have a big why. Why do you want to lose weight? You know, even to just, well, I want to be healthy. That doesn't work. Okay, when Monday comes and the alarm clock goes off and it's time to get up and exercise, and you could hit the snooze button, you got to have something that's going to push you through that to actually get up and do that. Okay, when you're exhausted at the end of the day, and you know, you're looking for something to eat, and you have the choice of go through the drive-through, the fast food or something like that, or actually go home and make a nutritious meal. Okay, it's easier to go through the drive-through, but when you have a big enough why, you can endure almost anyhow, and that's the truth. So one of my favorites was that I had a gal tell me once that she was a grandma and she's looking at her grandkids. She's like, there's not going to be anybody to pass on my faith to these kids. And so if I want to be around to pass the faith on to the grandkids, I need to be healthy, okay? So that's a big why. You guys see that? That is a big why. That's something that's going to motivate you to keep going when it gets difficult, when it gets hard, and to keep pushing forward, keep moving forward, okay? So I actually want you guys to take a second. You can put it, I would flip it around, put it, but you need to think about your big why. I'm just going to give you guys a few seconds. Think about that and jot something down for a big why. And you don't have to, but is anybody would like to share? You don't have to. If you're comfortable, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have 2 reasons why.
Yeah, that's good. And you can keep digging deeper and deeper on that too, about like why you want to be confident. Why is that important? You know, what is it? What would you do if you were more confident? You know, what would be different, right? So you can keep even digging deeper and deeper with that, and you know, really hit home with that. So that's really good though. You know, and so for me, my big why, I think pretty much everybody knows, but I lost my dad to cancer, okay? And I was only 19 at the time. He was only 45. And I'm the second oldest of 8 kids. So my dad died at 45 and with 8 kids. There's 6 still at home. And so my mom was left with these 6 kids to raise and take care of herself. And I've watched what that did to my family, you know? And I mean, like, I grew up strong Christian household, and just loving family, loving parents and everything. And I looked at how that affected my whole family, and everything changed. Absolutely everything changed. And I don't want that to happen to my family. I don't want that to happen to my kids. And so, and I can look at my dad's life, okay, and go right on down those 5 essentials, and I can see now that I know this information, I can see exactly why that happened, you know. When I was 19 though, I had no clue. I mean, I was just so lost. I mean, it didn't make sense at all. I'm like, how could this happen? My dad was a leader on the worship team at church, you know. He led small groups and Bible studies, and he devoted his life. He worked so hard. He was so giving. And so it's like, how could this happen to somebody like that? How could something like this happen to somebody like that? And I was just so lost and so confused. And now I can look, though, as life and see all the things that he was doing wrong for so many years. And that's my motivation to change, okay? That's my why, is I can't let that happen to my family, my kids, so. And so another you've been lied to. We're going to be busting some myths today, okay? Because, the myth is that weight loss is all about cutting calories, okay? And that's what we think, is that, okay, well, as long as we have, you know, calories in versus calories out, and we're winning that game, then we're going to lose weight. And that is an absolute myth, okay? It is an absolute myth. The quality of the calories is huge, okay? You could eat your calories worth in cardboard, okay, but versus, you know, eating your calories worth in like kale and spinach and, you know, high quality fats and proteins, right? There's going to be a big difference on your health outcomes, okay? And so it's not about cutting the calories. The truth is that weight loss is all about hormones and balancing those out, okay? So I'm going to teach you a little bit about that. So I mentioned before, a couple of the biggest ones is insulin and leptin, okay? So I'm going to teach you guys how this works inside your body, okay? So insulin is produced in your pancreas, okay? But insulin is a hormone that when your blood sugar levels go up, insulin goes out there to take it, and it stores it. Its job is to store any excess glucose or sugar in your bloodstream as glycogen in your liver and in your muscle tissues, okay? And then it also goes into your fat tissues and stores it as triglycerides, okay? So that's the other place that deposits. So insulin takes excess sugar and it stores it inside of these places, and it goes into your fat cells as triglycerides, okay? And the other hormone that you have inside your body is called leptin. Leptin is produced by your fat cells, and then it goes up and it speaks to your brain to tell your brain that you're full and that you no longer need to eat, okay? Your nutrition needs have been met and you're full, and so that's what happens, okay? So this is normal function, okay? But what happens is we disrupt this hormone balance with our nutrition and our fitness and things like that. I'm going to be going over a little bit more, I'm going to be going over in detail about how those things actually work, but what happens is you can get resistance with these hormones, okay? So what that means is that if you have this constant high blood sugar level, okay, what happens is that your body continues to produce this insulin in here, and so it's remember, that's a storing hormone, and so you're trying to store this, but your body says we need it, and so what they have to do is there's receptors on the outside of these cells here, okay, and that's what insulin attaches to and bring to transport the sugar inside the cell. Okay, you guys following me still? Okay, a little bit of biochemistry, but it attaches to these receptors here and pushes the sugar into the cell for it to be stored. And what happens is that your body says, well, we have way too much insulin, we can't store any more of this, and we need it actually we need some more out in the bloodstream to get it up to the brain. And so it starts to make fewer of those receptors. So you get, it's called receptor burnout, or it's resistance. So you're making a lot of this hormone here to store that, but your cells are becoming resistant to that. Even though the insulin's there, it's not making it, or it's not doing the job there, the normal function, because it's so burned out. Okay, so that's type 2 diabetes. And there's, it's type 2 diabetes once it reaches a clinical level, but that can be going on at any level inside your body. You can have receptor burnout. The same thing can happen with leptin in your hypothalamus inside your brain, okay? So you get this, you can have actually from overeating, all those things, but you can have receptor burnout because on this hypothalamus you have receptors just like the insulin for the leptin. And if you have too much leptin going on, then you get resistance to in there because you have receptor burnout. Okay, so you're making leptin, but you're not getting that satiated or that full feeling to come out, and so you eat more and you eat more and you eat more. Okay, so that's how those hormones work, and that's the disruption that we need to break. We need to stop. So you need to correct that through the nutrition, the fitness, and things like that I'm going to be showing you here. Okay. So the other myth that we have here is that weight loss is all about the scale, and it absolutely isn't. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make a rule during this 28 days, okay? Everybody listening, 28 days here, we're going to do a weigh-in here at the beginning. You're not allowed to step on the scale through the whole thing. That's a rule, okay? And then we're going to weigh you out at the end, and we'll get you those results, and we'll let you know where you're at and the progress that you made, all those things. So, but you yourself are not allowed to step on a scale. You need to stop looking at the scale. Is everybody with me there? Okay. Stop looking at the scale, because weight loss is not about the scale. It's all about your body composition, and that's key. There's an awful lot of skinny, sick people out there. You guys realize that? There's a lot of sick, skinny people out there, okay? You can have diabetes and you can be skinny. You can get cancer and you can be skinny, okay? Now, obesity and being overweight and things, that makes you more susceptible to those. It's a risk factor of everything that goes along with it. But absolutely, you can be skinny, you can look healthy. My dad did not look sick, okay? He worked construction. He was actually pretty fit and fairly active. He looked healthy, he felt pretty healthy, and so everybody thought he was healthy. Nobody saw this coming at all, And so some of the mindset for nutrition is you come into nutrition here, one of the biggest things, again, max mind is essential number one for a reason. It's all about your mindset here. So, the mantra is eat to live, don't live to eat, okay? So that's a lot of people, you're living to eat, and you use that as comfort or push you through a hard time or something like that. And you need to change that mantra. You need to think about your food as fuel, okay? And that's really all it is, okay? You can reach for a cake or a cookie and bring it to your mouth, or you can reach for a handful of raw nuts and bring it to your mouth, okay? It's the same amount of work and action. You got to think about it in terms of fuel, okay? And I'm not saying that you're never going to be able to eat yummy food again. I'm going to show you, look at some of those recipes, they're amazing. And it used to be that you had to completely abstain from any type of food that tastes good to be healthy. That's what we used to think. And now we're finding out that's not true, that you can actually have some of the most delicious food you'll ever find, and high quality food, and it tastes amazing, and you're building health inside your body, okay? The other mantra we're looking at is eating clean, okay? Eating clean, you're gonna look for whole, nutrient-dense, naturally grown and raised foods, okay? So no processed things, no packaged things, you wanna stay away from that as much as possible. Even, I'm gonna take you through Shop with the Doc at Lakewinds. I'm gonna be showing you, how half the things in there you shouldn't be eating either, okay? As healthy as the food is there and great as it is, and that's where I do almost 100% of our grocery shopping for our family is done at Lakewinds. But I'm going to go through, I'm going to show you things that we buy, and I'm going to show you too a lot of things that we avoid and we don't get, okay? But part of eating clean too then is avoiding toxins, okay? So this is where you're going to go organic as much as you possibly can. But not only that, like I'm going to teach you how to read an ingredient label. We'll be going over that a lot more at Shop with the Doc. So you guys learn how to do that. So in focus on quality over quantity, okay? No counting calories whatsoever. Everybody clear on that? No counting calories. No counting calories. Okay. As long as you're having quality, okay, your body can actually process those calories if it's quality. So you don't need to count them. You don't need to, okay? So 4 main changes that you're looking at here, okay? 4 main changes. Number 1 is you need to fix your fats. This is so huge, okay? Fat is our number 1 missing nutrient. You guys understand that? Fat is, we hit this big fat-free craze, and it's an absolute lie. So you got to fix your fats. You're going to move away from trans fats, any hydrogenated or vegetable oils or partially hydrogenated. See any of that stuff, you're going to move away from it. You're going to move into healthy fats. You're going to perfect your proteins, okay? So that's going to be getting good quality proteins that your body will actually utilize. And the other thing is too, you need to be careful because excess protein can be converted into sugar and cause weight gain as well. So you want to make sure you're not getting too much protein as well. That'll be actually one of the first things that, if you're struggling a little bit, they'll kind of ask you about is, well, what does your protein intake look like? And we'll probably pull that back a little bit. And then curb your carbs, okay? So carbohydrates, the plan I'm teaching you here in these principles, it's not a low carb really, because you're going to get lots of carbs still from vegetables and some from fruit, okay? So it's not low carb, but you want to start to minimize grains, or if not completely eliminate them here, but you're going to completely eliminate sugars, okay? During the 28 days here. So, and then trash the toxins. So the best plan though, so are you guys familiar with the nutrition book here? This is a huge resource for you guys because this gives you so much information, and it lays out 2 fundamental plans for you, nutrition plans. One is the core plan. This is core changes that families need to make for healthy eating for their whole family, okay? And then the other one is the advanced plan, okay? The advanced plan is what most of you guys here are going to be steering towards and should be steering towards for weight loss. If you really want to be serious about resetting your hormones and losing weight and being healthy, especially if you already have like some type of chronic condition going on, you need to be on the advanced plan, okay? Minimum of the 28 days here, and so that's what you're going to be looking at. But this outlines both of those plans and gives you all the eating guidelines. It has shopping guides in there for you, teaches you, if you find yourself out at a restaurant here, how do you make your way around the restaurant. It even gives you tips about how to set up your kitchen for success and how to plan out your meals. So So the advanced nutrition plan, that's on page 50 of the book here. It attacks your hormone problem at the root. So there's 5 keys to the advanced plan here, okay? The 5 keys. Number 1, you're going to eliminate the sugars, okay? That's probably the biggest thing. You gotta eliminate the sugars. Number 2, you're also going to cut out grains. And some of you might think that that's really, really hard. I promise you, you know, you get into it. I've done it several times in my life where I've gone periods of cutting that out. I promise you it's not as hard as you think. You'd be surprised how much food is out there that you can get doesn't have any grains in it, okay? And the reason for that is, you know, because we tend to think, you know, oh, there's a whole healthy grain, right? It's healthy, so because it's a whole grain or something. And that's okay on the core plan, but on an advanced plan, you're going to cut it out because grains, ultimately, they're going to turn to sugar inside your body, and it really happens pretty quickly, okay? So in order to balance out those hormones, balance out the insulin levels, right, we want to balance out those sugar levels, and that's going to happen by going this 28 days without the grains, okay? So when you start to re-implement the grains is once you hit your goals, okay? So after the 28 days here, you can start to implement those grains, or if, for some of you, you maybe haven't hit your goal yet, and so you might keep going with that. So you're going to keep going until you hit your goal, wherever you're looking for, okay? Bad fats to good fats, we talked about that. And one of the keys here too is eating very little fruit, okay? You really eliminate all fruit except for berries, lemons, limes, Granny Smith apples, and you can do some grapefruit too. But otherwise, on the advanced plan, you're going to stay away from the rest of the fruit, okay? It's too much fructose in there, and it's going to cause spikes in your blood sugar. So that's another great key to the book here, is it actually breaks down a lot of fruits and vegetables and gives them to you according to glycemic index. So it'll tell you low glycemic, moderate glycemic, and high glycemic. What that means, if you don't know, is that means how quickly it'll turn to sugar inside your body, okay? So high glycemic means it turns to sugar inside your body very, very rapidly, and so you're going to stay away from those. You're going to stick to more low glycemic. And then you're going to avoid toxins. Toxins are hormone disruptors. They're hormone disruptors. A lot of times, one of the worst things that they do is they come in and they take up a receptor site for your hormones. They actually will attach to those same receptor sites, and it fools your body and tricks those cells into doing things it's not supposed to, okay? Hormones are communicators, and it can actually alter and change the function of that cell by taking up that space, okay? So avoid the toxins. So you've been lied to. This is the big low-fat myth, okay? Low-fat and diet foods are a good way to lose weight, and that's an absolute lie, okay? You have to be, one of the keys to the advanced plan is you have to severely increase your intake of fat. Healthy fats, and we're going to avoid the bad fats and the damaged fats, but you need to actually increase those very, very much. So in terms, you know, if you are looking in terms of how much calories or how much food that you're taking in a day, in terms of calories, honestly, somewhere around 60% of your daily caloric intake should be coming from fat. Okay, every single cell inside your body needs fat. Okay, actually, when you look at the outside of a cell, what that is a double layer of fat. That's what it is. Every single cell. So if you want proper communication, good stuff in, bad stuff out, that cell membrane absolutely has to be healthy. Otherwise, it's not going to happen, and you don't get a healthy cell membrane without healthy fats. Okay. The other thing, going back to the hormones, okay, insulin, leptin, all your hormones are fat-based. Okay, so again, if you're, and this is where I see a lot of people too, like with thyroid issues or different things, and any type of hormone imbalance, one of the first things you have to do is you have to increase the fat and get healthy fats back inside your diet. Otherwise, you can't ever fix the hormones. So fat has a bad rap, you know, and this is you know, before the fat-free craze, okay? But I mean, honestly, that's what it was back before we started getting all the heart attacks and everything like that. You know, and that's kind of like what people get worried about. Is like, well, if I increase my fat, I'm going to clog my arteries and I'm going to have a heart attack, and that's absolutely not true. This is like back before people had heart attacks all the time. it was their fats were butter and lard, and they used plenty of it, and they used it on everything. Okay, so but that's good news. Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited about that. That I can have lots of fat and it's not a problem. I just need to make sure it's healthy fat. Okay. So but during that time, the non-fat movement as it came about, we saw the butter and meat consumption dropping by 50% at that time. Okay, what then happened is we came out with the fake replacements like margarines and stuff like that. That consumption rose by 400%, and also what we saw was that heart disease rose dramatically during those times. Okay, this margarine is it's toxic. It's nothing like butter. Don't let anybody ever tell you that. It's not healthy in any way, shape, or form. It's completely synthetic and it's garbage. I mean, you're eating plastic. Okay, that's pretty much what you're doing. You're spreading plastic onto your food and you're eating that, and that's terrible. So you can't eat plastic and be healthy. But you have to be very, very careful about slick marketing. Okay, so the good news is that they came out with this law that said that because trans fats were causing so much heart disease and so many problems, and so they actually came out with a law that said that you have to, if your product contains trans fats, you have to put that on your label and say trans fat. But the problem is that they have the food industry is very powerful lobbyers. Okay, so they lobbied and they altered that, and they got them to put in there as long as it's less than half a gram per serving, that then they can put it in there. Okay, and they can still say it's trans fat free. Okay, so what the food manufacturers do, they actually didn't have to change their product at all. All they had to do was change their serving size, and now magically they can say trans fat free. So again, you have been lied to. You've been lied to. And so you can't just go by the marketing garbage that's in the front here. Every single thing during here, and I promise you start to do it and it gets easier as you go get along doing it. Every single thing, you have to turn it around and read the complete ingredient list. And I'm going to give you tips about doing that, but you have to read that ingredient list every single time, okay? Because it's real easy. You're going along, you see, oh, olive oil mayonnaise or something like that, and you just grab it, okay? And I haven't found a really good store mayonnaise. There's a recipe for it here in the book. Tastes great. But because every single one of those olive oil ones, you turn it around and it says canola and olive oil, okay? Canola is an absolutely rancid fat. And you're going to stay away from that one. So we look at this, no trans fats. Turn around though, hydrogenated vegetable oils. Okay, that is trans fat. Okay, that's garbage, damaged fats, and will absolutely destroy your hormones, destroy your cell membranes and your health. Okay, so more on this bad versus good fats. So bad fats are your hydrogenated and partially hydrogenated oils. Examples would be cottonseed, soybean, and vegetable. Your trans fats are your margarines and synthetic butters, okay? And then your rancid ones are your corn and canola oils, or anyone that's just simply labeled vegetable oil. Okay, those are all rancid. And that's the problem is, it's found in practically every single bread, cracker, cookie, and box food, and it really is difficult to find anything of that nature that doesn't have this garbage in there, okay? So some of those things you're just going to have to completely eliminate, and some of those things you may be able to find a healthy alternative for some of those things, but a lot of them it's a matter of just completely get rid of them, get them out, okay? And then here's your good fats. So it's going to be fats that are not altered by man. You want very minimally processing at all. So that's like your extra virgin olive oil, your avocados or even avocado oil, coconut and coconut oil, raw nuts and seeds, butter. That's good news. For me anyways, I like that news. You can have a lot of butter, okay? You're going to look for grass-fed and organic, okay? Those are the keys there. Raw is best if you can find that, or make it yourself. Your cheeses, your animal products, all your meats, you just need to make sure that they're grass-fed or free-range, okay? Those are the things you're looking for. Grass-fed or free-range. Okay, because if they're not grass-fed, you guys, where are they fed then? They're fed corn. Okay, God didn't create cows. Again, you move away. It's a matter of principle here. God didn't create cows to eat corn. Okay, He created them to eat grass. Okay, and so corn should not be like their only food that they're getting. And so what happens is these cows are fed the corn all the time, and they weren't created for that. And so they get really, really sick eating all the corn. And we have to pump them full of antibiotics and hormones and junk like that. They get sick all the time. And if you're eating this sick, unhealthy cow, what are you going to be? Sick and unhealthy, right? I mean, it's not rocket science. That's really what it is. You are what you eat. So all your fatty fishes, you're looking for Pacific or Alaskan caught, or wild salmon. Smaller fishes, okay? You want to stick lower on the food chain there, because the higher up you go, then you get this toxic bioaccumulation, right? Okay. But you're looking for Pacific or Alaskan wild caught. You don't stay away from farm raised. Okay. They'll actually feed GMO corn to salmon on a farm when they farm raise them. It's really weird. So you want to stay Pacific or Alaskan wild caught. Okay. And then that also will help you stay away from toxic. Okay, so Atlantic tends to be a little bit more toxic than the Pacific. So good. Another thing too is the olive oil. Really healthy for you, but you don't want to cook with it because it has a really low smoking point. And when your oils start to smoke, that means they're going rancid. Okay, so don't take your good fats and then destroy them. Okay, it's another thing like with nuts. Like if you're buying like a cashew butter or an almond butter or something like that, really healthy for you. But again, turn it around, read the ingredient label, make sure it's raw and it's not roasted. Okay, make sure it's not roasted, because when you roast it, it ruins all the fat in there. Now you just lost most benefit.
So what's good cooking oil?
Then what we use mostly is coconut oil and butter. That's what I use in my house. So, or I should say, that's what Amanda uses in my house. And another thing though is it's getting to a point too where it's really pretty hard to get all these and to really balance them out in our diet, because what we see is, you guys familiar with fatty acids, omega-6 and omega-3? Okay, so omega-6 is you need it inside your body. Don't get me wrong, but if it's out of balance, what happens is the omega-6s tend to go really, really high, okay? And that's what we see with cows and beef and animal products when they've been fed an improper diet, okay? Cows that eat corn all the time, their omega-6 to omega-3 balance is about 20-1, okay? So it's really, really inflammatory. And the proper balance is actually somewhere around 2-1. So you want omega-6 to omega-3, you want a 2-1 ratio inside of there. The ratio is huge and it's important. So to help balance that out, you're going to need to supplement with it, and that's why we made this Optimal Omega product. It's going to be a huge resource for you to be able to take that and balance it out, reduce the inflammation, and start the healing process inside your body. Okay, so you need to balance those out. But this is awesome. It has it's not just fish oil either. It's a whole blend of different oils so that you can get this proper balance in there. But omega-3s, ultimately you're going to be increasing the ratio of omega-3s and bumping that up. And omega-3s are huge for cognitive support, cardiovascular health, and like I was talking about with inflammation, to help reduce that and regulate it. Okay? So some label reading tips for you, okay? These are huge, huge principles. You should be able to take them home and use them right away, okay? But what you're going to be doing is looking for minimal ingredients, okay? So right away, when you grab a product, you look at it, and there's, the list is going to take you 20 minutes to read through, okay? Just put it back on the shelf, okay? Because it's not good. Minimal ingredients, okay? How many ingredients is in broccoli? Okay, that's broccoli, right? Look for natural ingredients again, okay? So a good tip there is if you can't pronounce it, okay, it's probably not good for you, Okay, if you can't pronounce it, it's probably not good for you, and you should put it back. Okay, so, and you should know what every single thing is on there. So as you're getting used to it, there's going to be things you come across you're not really sure what it is or anything like that, and so it takes a little bit more time when you first get started, and that's why I do the shop with the doc, so I can kind of field a lot of those questions for you guys about like, well, what is this even? And you start to learn what the different things are and which ones you need to avoid. But you need to know what every single thing on there is. Try to buy, like I said, more foods without any labels at all, okay? That would be fresh produce and things like that. So, but again, that's where going organic is really important, because what they don't put on any of the labels is the 12 different pesticides that the strawberry was sprayed with, okay? And that's a huge deal, huge deal. In the book here, it gives you, this nutrition book, it gives you the clean 15 versus the dirty dozen for pesticide loads, okay? So the dirty dozen, you absolutely should never eat them unless if it's organic, okay? The clean 15, it's okay to go conventional there somewhat, because it's not as heavy of a pesticide load there. Yep, and that is in the book here, but it's berries, okay? Lemons, limes, Granny Smith apples, and grapefruit, okay? So grapefruit is one that's not listed here in the book, but it's been updated as okay.
I see why the berries shouldn't be. They should.
Right, I'm not sure where it lies. You might. Exactly, and that's part of it, is when it has a thicker skin or a rind or something, typically it's a little bit more resistance to the pesticides coming in. So, but I am not sure off the top of my head on grapefruit specifically where that lies. Check every label on every single thing you buy. So what's hiding in plain sight? When we look at this, and I actually don't typically look at the fats and the protein and stuff, but one of the first things I will look at is sugar, okay? So we look at this and, again, slick marketing stuff, real all-natural peach tea, so I don't know what all-natural really means, it doesn't really have a definition there. And so you look at that, it's like peaches, okay, it's fruit, it's a tea, it's going to be good for me, okay? Flip it around though, and the first thing you'll see right there is it's 24 grams of sugar, okay? That is a lot of sugar. So what's worse than that though is that's per serving, okay? So you look at that, and there's servings per container is about 2. So this is amount per serving, so that's actually 48 grams of sugar. When you drink that whole bottle, you just have 48 grams of sugar, okay? That's almost as much as a soda. You guys realize that? So you're not really any better off there. Because that's another thing that they'll do. You have to be careful with the fruits, is that once they process them down and they make them, they use concentrates and things like that. It's basically concentrated sugar is all it is at the end of the day. So your better alternative, and I use these in let me say right off the bat, okay, if you have like a 6 soda a day habit or something like that, do not switch to 6 Zevias a day. Don't do that, okay? We use these very sparingly, but we do get these, but this is not part of our regular shopping list, okay? I want you guys to understand that, and it shouldn't be part of your regular shopping list either. These are treats, so these are, if we're going out over, if the kids are going over to a friend's house or something like that for a party and everybody's going to have soda, we just send one of these along with them. So they don't have to have the soda, but they still have something cool to drink, okay? And it tastes good. It really does. Have you guys had these before? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they actually do taste pretty good. They taste like soda. So, but what it is it's sweetened with stevia. So stevia is a good replacement sweetener. It's actually made from, it's a leaf, it's an herb, and been used for centuries in cultures, and not only for its sweet properties, but also for its effect on your digestive health and other things as well. So, but the awesome thing about it is that sweet It doesn't raise your blood sugar levels at all. Okay, so it's not going to cause that imbalance to insulin inside your body. Okay. And still, switch it around. Look at the ingredient label even on these, because some of them have some colorings in there. Just stay away from those. Okay, so typically the dark ones, they have coloring in there. So we get the clear ones only. So just some tips too on some replacement rules. Okay, use this and not this. Okay, so if you're used to using your Pam and your Crisco's, your vegetable oils, canola oils, switch it out. Coconut oil, olive oil, butter. Okay. If you're used to like store-bought, your salad dressings and stuff like that, unfortunately that's one thing. I can probably save you a whole lot of time, and you just, from turning around and reading every single ingredient label of the salad dressings at Lakewinds and saying, oh, can't have that, just make your own. There's recipes for them here in the book. There's great recipes you can find online. In your packets there too, I have like additional resources. There's a page that has additional resources on there. Lists off some great websites where you can find great recipes and things. So, your ice cream or conventional milk. Okay, you can get some coconut ice cream. You still want to check the sugar on there though. If you use sugar, replace your sweeteners with stevia or xylitol. Okay. During these 28 days, I would stay away from honey and even like more natural sweeteners like that. Which, by the way, agave nectar is not natural. Okay, that's highly processed, GMO. It's nasty. Don't use that stuff. Honey can be a natural sweetener, but it still is going to raise those blood sugar levels. Okay, so during these 28 days, stay away from that completely while you're resetting your hormones. Otherwise, when we're not doing a cleanse like this or something, if we're outside one of these challenges, we will use honey every once in a while, but it's not a staple thing. We use very, very, very little. Okay. Your Mayos and Miracle Whips, you can make your own at home. Flours, switch out your flours to flax, almond, and coconut flour. Now, you can't just do a one-for-one replacement. If you have this amazing recipe that uses flour, you can't just one-for-one and that's the only thing you do is replace it. You need a completely new recipe, okay? Switch out your sodas to Zevia, or better yet, just have some lemon water or something like that, okay? So you've been lied to. The other thing is health is how you feel, and this is one of the biggest things that you have to realize is health has nothing to do with how you actually feel, okay? You can feel pretty terrible, but what matters is how your body is actually functioning, okay? I can't tell you, I mean, you look at my dad. My dad felt pretty good, okay? He felt pretty good, and he rarely got sick. He'd come down with a case of pneumonia like maybe once a year or something like that. Otherwise, he hardly ever even got sick. And so he felt pretty great most of the time, and it all of a sudden started feeling bad, and 2 weeks later he was dead. And so there's no warning time there. It's not about how you feel, it's about how your body is functioning, okay? And you look at, we've seen some celebrities and stuff that go through this. So you got Steve Jobs here, and health isn't how you feel, it's about how you function, okay? So Steve Jobs here, he went through cancer, and eventually, unfortunately, he lost his battle, okay? It doesn't matter how much money you have, okay? When you lose your health, you lose everything, okay? You lose everything. When you lose your health, you lose everything. When you look at Steve Jobs here, any resource in the world that he wanted was at his fingertips, okay? There was nothing outside of the reach in terms of resources. All he had to do was get his hands on it, and he still lost his battle. It doesn't matter. I mean, he would have given up absolutely everything he had to get his health back again, but unfortunately it was already too late for him, okay? So what is health? It's all about how you function. It's all about how you function. I don't know if anybody ever taught Steve Jobs this principle or not, so this is more valuable than all of what Steve Jobs had. Everything, all the money he had, all the success, everything. What's more valuable is your health, and that's the information you're learning right now. It's all about how you function. When you look up the definition of health, it says it's the state in which your body is functioning regardless of how you feel. And so that's really one of the biggest takeaways for you guys, honestly, is, I get asked, especially around this time a year, I get asked all the time, it's like, what's the latest thing for my health? What should I be doing this year? Is there a new vitamin or a new diet program or something like that? Is there a new fast or a new exercise? What's the best exercise? And they're like, what's the best thing? And you can tell how important something is for you and for your health by how long you can go without it. Okay, that's why I always like to say back people are asking me that. Okay, so when you look at it, you can go about a month without food. Okay, so the basic things that you need for life: food, water, air, right? And so you can go about a month without food. You can go a few days without water. So what that means is food is obviously important. Water is more important, okay? And you look at that too, we really can only go a few minutes without air though. So air is more important than both food or water, okay? But there's another thing that you can't go, that your body actually can't even go 1 second without, and that's your nerve supply, okay? And we all know this because if I took and I chopped right there and I cut off all the signals coming down from your brain, what happens? You die. When do you die? Immediately, right away, right? And so you die right away because you can't go even 1 second without getting those life-giving impulses from your brain down your spinal cord and out to the rest of your body, okay? And so we all know Chris Reeves, right? Chris Reeves is a perfect example of this. When he fell off the horse, he smashed that top vertebrae into his brainstem and spinal cord, and what stopped working on him was everything. Okay, nothing worked on him. His arms didn't work, his legs didn't work, his heart didn't work. He needed a pacemaker for his heart, a machine to make his lungs breathe, all those things. Everything, literally everything below shut down on Chris Reeves as a result. Okay, so if there's any shifting or pressure in that spinal cord there, if there's shifting or pressure on your spinal cord and nerves right up top there, then what's absolutely happening to your heart, your lungs, and your digestive system? They're still shutting down. It's just like with Chris Reeves, same thing, right? It happened to Chris Reeves just like that. It's still happening to you, it's just on a slower basis, right? Does that make sense? And so, the first thing that you need to look at then is how is your nerve system? It's the most important, because it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if I start putting, if I gave Chris Reeves the perfect nutrition plan, okay, was he getting better? Was that going to fix his problem? No, that wasn't going to fix his problem, right? If you have blocked nerves going in your digestive system, it doesn't matter. I can give you the highest quality vitamins in the world. Your body's not going to absorb them and utilize them and actually put them to use inside your body. It's the nerve system first every single time. And the same thing, exercise, extremely important. I'm going to be going through that stuff with you. But if I block those nerves going into your heart, it doesn't matter how much you exercise, it's never going to properly pump and beat and deliver the blood and the oxygen out to the tissues like it needs to. Okay? And so this is a great story here. So obviously he lost over 100 pounds here, and you're going to see, I'm going to show you his x-rays on the next slide here, but health is all about your function, okay? And so he started out with the Maximized Living Nutrition plans and saw some success, but then what he did is that he decided to get his nerve system checked. And so when he checked his nerve system, this was his x-rays when he first started, okay? So what you need to see when you look at an x-ray here is you need to see a nice curve over here like that. You guys see that? So what was going on right here with his curve is really straight. So the spinal cord is what's coming through the back here. What was that doing to the spinal cord coming through there then? Yeah, it was pulling and stretching on it. Now those nerves in the neck here, they actually go out to your thyroid, okay? And your thyroid is a huge part of your hormones to control metabolism, energy levels, all those things. So he was tired all the time. His metabolism was low, and so when we started clearing the nerves then with him and started a corrective program, actually that's when his results started skyrocketing, just taking off, okay? You corrected the nerve system there and balanced those hormones. Thyroid's working now, his energy levels go up, he's sleeping better, and he's able to process and metabolize his food much better, okay? So that's what really drove him to the success, and now he's lost over 100 pounds, okay? So one of my favorite testimonies is, I hear it, I've heard it multiple times, is that people will start care here for chiropractic care, and I do corrective care. So will start adjusting and correcting their nerve system, and they'll say, you know, I didn't change anything, I haven't changed anything in my diet or my exercise program or anything like that, and I'm down 10, 20 pounds already because the nerve system's working better, their bodies are functioning better, they're able to metabolize and actually utilize the food that's going in there, and not only that, they're able to dump out the toxins from the garbage that they're eating still. So all those things, it's always the nerve system first, always the nerve system first. So we're going to take a break here. A few very, very, very important things, and we have some food out there. You guys go. Do we need to get out? We have some food. We're going to have some smoothie samples and stuff for you guys as well. So make sure you try all those things. Get your resources though at the break too. All the products here are 10% off today, so stock up today. And then inside of your packets there, you're going to see there's a sheet inside of there that has bundles listed out, okay? Those specific bundles are closer to about 15% off, okay? So if you buy those, there's a few different packages kind of for different people depending on where you're at. If you're at a beginner level and you're like, yeah, I'm just getting into this, I need everything. Or if you're looking specifically for like a strong
I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. 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 I got soul, but I'm not a soldier.
couple of things I thought of was one, a big thing for you for success is you need to plan your meals, okay? I can't stress that enough. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, okay? And then, so they have tips for that in the book here. And then also, like, one of the big things too that you'll find is take a prep day, okay? So you can take a day and, like, you know, if you're having chicken 3 times in the week or something like that, you can, you know, make all your chicken breasts at once and then just, you know, and then it's all, that work is already done, so you have that done on your prep day. Chop up all your vegetables and things like that for the week all at the same time. So again, you know, because otherwise what happens, you get to the end of the day or something like that, or you need some food like right now and nothing's ready and you have to do all the prep already. You have to chop up the things, or, you know, you're going to reach for a snack right now, and obviously you shouldn't buy it in the first place, the unhealthy ones. But it's, you know, especially like if you're at work or something like that, if you don't have some fresh veggies or raw nuts or something like that to grab for a snack, you know, then you find yourself reaching for a Snickers or something like that. So plan it out, plan it, okay? And then, yeah, the other thing that I was thinking about is going back to your big why too, was, you know, part of the reason why, you know, because a lot of people, or some people anyways, like, you have a pretty good idea about what to eat, okay? You know, apple good, donut bad, okay? But it's the why that really drives you to reaching for the apple versus the donut, okay? You know what to eat, but the reason why you're not doing it is because your why isn't big enough, okay? And that's, I can't stress it enough too, like, that's just so, so important, so. We're gonna get into fitness now. Fitness is so important, it's huge. And I'm going to go through all the things it's doing for you, but it's going to also be a huge part of balancing out your hormones as well, okay? Part of the thing, too, that can happen, they'll find people that have like really, really active jobs and lifestyles and stuff, but they have horrible diets, right? But they're so fit that their insulin has been balanced out, and then they retire and they fall into type 2 diabetes like almost right away because they're no longer getting that fitness level that they are used to. So they get diabetes, they get overweight really fast because their diet that was so bad and so high in sugar all the time is finally now caught up with them because they weren't burning it off, okay? So it is a very, very powerful component to it. So you've been lied to. The lie is that 45 minutes in your fat burning zone is the best way to lose weight. That's absolutely not true, okay? It doesn't take 45 minutes. You don't have to spend an hour at the gym or anything like that. You don't have to spend forever on a treadmill, okay? You don't have to do dance along with Richard Simmons or anything like that to get your results, right? You can play in the background if that's what you like, I guess. But but this is good news, okay? Because I mean, what's one of the biggest excuses people say for I can't exercise is that I don't have enough what? Time, okay? So the good news is that the best exercise for you that's going to balance out your hormones, burn fat, and put you in that fat burning zone actually doesn't take that long, okay? On that note though, I do want to say anything is better than nothing, okay? So anything is better than nothing. Any type of exercise is going to be better than just sitting around, and there's benefit to it, okay? But if you're going to go and exercise, how many of you would like to get the most bang for your buck? Yeah, absolutely. You'd like to, if you're going to put in all that effort and all that work, you know, some people are crazy, just like abusing their bodies and beating them up, okay? That's not me. So some people are crazy like that, but for the rest of us normal people, you know, it doesn't take that. So you want to, if you're going to go and exercise, you're going to put the effort in, you want to do it, make sure that you're getting the maximum benefit out of it, okay? Okay, so it's a burst training type of exercise. So that's what this is. If you guys aren't familiar, we actually do have a full program that you can do called Max T3. It's a DVD you can exercise along with. It'll give you the exercises, it gives you the timing on everything. But what it's based on is based on the 3 things that you can change to change your exercise, okay? And that's what it is. So you can change the time that you're exercising. You can change the type of exercise that you're doing. You can change the tempo and the pace that you're doing it, okay? So the 3 T's, time, type, and tempo. So what it's all designed around is to maximize these things for you so that you're getting, you're burning fat and building muscle, you're balancing out your hormones, and dialing up that ideal response, okay? Here's the keys though to actually making it happen, okay? Because if you're only gonna work out for about 12 minutes a day, there's gonna be some rules to what has to happen during that time, okay? You have to show up, number one. If you're not showing up, you know, and honestly, if you don't have like a good workout routine or something like that, just number one is put it into your schedule and show up. Just show up. If the first couple of days, like you don't actually really get around to doing much exercise, that's okay. Just have it in your schedule. Here's where I'm doing it, and you're showing up. Put the DVD in the DVD player. You know, have something in your hands or whatever it is. Do something for that time, and just show up. That's half the battle right there. Okay, that's where a gym is so awesome too, because it gives you a place to show up. Okay, so. Show up at the gym, okay? That's going to be step number one for you. Work hard, okay? That's going to be the next level for you, is work hard. Now you have the time, you're showing up and you're doing it, put the work in, work hard, and so that you can get the benefits. It's only, and really with the burst training, what you do is you do 20 seconds on, you do 20 seconds exercising at 90% of your maximum heart rate, and then you take 20 seconds off and you take 20 seconds of rest. So that 12 minutes is really only 6 minutes of work, okay? 6 minutes, all you gotta do. And you just focus on that. It's only 6 minutes. It's only 6 minutes of actual work. So work hard though. If you're gonna get the results, you need to work hard for those 6 minutes. Check the box, okay? So that's on your thing here. Track it, keep track of it. That's what's gonna increase your success. Make the notes like I was talking about. Intensity is the key there too. So if you want to get good results, you got to be intense about the exercise. Okay, that's the key to really getting those results. Push to your maximum ability. Breathing hard equals burning fat. Okay, so when you're breathing hard, that's good. That's burning fat. That's when you know you're in your fat burning zone. So you'll know when you've arrived there. So this is just showing you some of the differences. You know, we used to think, you know, you go about 70%, 60, 70, maybe even 80% of your maximum heart rate. And then that's what's going to put you in that fat burning zone, okay? And that's what's going to give you the most benefit. But there's this principle in here. It's called EPOC, excess post exercise oxygen consumption, okay? So what happens is you're continuing, what EPOC is you're continuing to work hard and breathe hard and burn fat for an extended period of time. So while you're resting, you're actually still burning fat. Okay, does that sound good to anybody else? Yeah, so you can rest and sit there and burn fat actually. What they found though is that the more that you push your body during that time, then the more it has to recover from, and that EPOC zone is extended. So you can see here, you're going a lower intensity and you're working out for a longer period of time, but your EPOC here, that post-exercise benefit, is greatly reduced. Here though, what the science that we're using here now is you're going at a higher intensity and for a shorter duration, and it only takes that 12 minutes, but that EPOC effect can last up to 36 hours, okay? So you can do 12 minutes exercise and have up to 36 hours of fat burning afterwards. So that's the key right there, okay? That's the secret to the exercise right there. It's that intensity and it's the rest periods. Rest periods are hugely important, okay? And then another thing too is, so that's your basic surge plan, and I talked about that. But it's, and you can pick any exercise in there. I mean, if you really like an elliptical, or maybe you really like running or something like that, you just do it in this manner. So you're going to do a sprint for 20 seconds, and you're going to go down to just a light walk for 20 seconds, okay? You're doing an elliptical, you can change that intensity, but you're going to go as hard as fast as you can for 20 seconds, okay? It's about getting that intensity up, getting that breathing rate up, getting that maximum heart rate up, and so you want to be, like I said, right around 90% of your maximum heart rate. So you guys know how to calculate that? 220 minus your age. That's your maximum heart rate, and you want to be about 90% of that. Yep.
So like if you're doing the running and you do 20 seconds sprinting, do you walk for 20 seconds? Or you
That's fine.
Just stop?
No, you can keep walking. That's fine. So you don't have to completely stop. And that's too, like when I'm doing the DVD and stuff, I try not to just collapse for 20 seconds on the rest. Stand up, walk over, get a drink of water or something like that, but that rest period goes really fast actually. So, yeah.
Has anybody done the DVD? Yeah.
Mm.
It's intense.
Yeah, it'll kick your butt. You might not think like 6 minutes of exercise or 12 minutes is gonna do anything. It'll kick your butt. Okay, so don't make the mistake that my brother-in-law made. And when you watch the DVD, each exercise just keeps rolling into the next. And so he ended up doing like all 6 days worth in one day. And so he started getting to by the third one in, he's like, this is ridiculous and stuff. And so, he got really frustrated then after that. And he's like, I'm never doing this again. And so he calls me up and stuff. And I'm talking to him like, no, you only do one of those per day. So needless to say, he couldn't move for a few days. So. And then the other thing is too, timing can be important. I highly recommend doing it first thing in the morning. Reason being is because the longer you wait, the more excuses you can come up with, and you hit the end of the day, you still haven't done it, and you're going to be wiped out or whatever. Something always comes up and gets in the way. So do it as soon as you can, as soon as you get an opportunity. Okay, that's what I recommend. Another thing is too, to increase your benefits and especially the hormone balance, is do it on an empty stomach, okay? Don't eat and then go right into doing it, okay? Because what you're going to end up doing a lot of times is burning up everything that you just consumed. So you want to do it closer to an empty stomach. Hydrate beforehand and during, and then post-exercise. Smoothies are great, but you want to get some type of protein in there. Whey protein is one of the best because it's so bioavailable, and it's your body can utilize it right away. It's the most readily available, ready for your body to use protein that there is. Okay, so that's why we recommend that one.
So for the bottom there you have 2 minutes off. So how is that 20-second pattern working before the 2 minutes off? Are you doing
And on the DVD, they don't take that 2-minute off thing. They just keep going on it. So you can do either one. You can do a 2-minute rest, or you can just keep going.
Well, when would you do the 2-minute rest?
In between exercise. So you do 3 reps like that.
Okay.
So you 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off, 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off, 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off, and then 2 minutes off, sorry. And then switch up to a different exercise. So you're typically going to do 3 reps of something. So if you're doing push-ups, or if you're doing squats or something like that, or whatever it is, which that's another great thing about this program, is you don't need equipment. Okay, you can do it while you travel, you can do it in a hotel, you need no equipment, and it's cost effective. You can do it anywhere. You can do it at work. Okay, you get a 15-minute break at work, you can do it then. So that's the Max T3 DVD, and this is fun too. The other thing I love about this is they have just a wide range of people doing it on the DVD with you, and they give you different versions of the exercise for you as well. So you know, if you can't do a push-up, okay, you can do a push-up on your knees. If you can't do a push-up on your knees, you can do a push-up on a chair or a bench. If you can't do a push-up on a chair or a bench, you know, you're going to do it up against a wall or something like that, okay? But you can always do some type of exercise, and so it's according to what your ability is, okay? Some people, you have a knee replacement or a hip replacement or something like that. You have an injury from an accident, and you're not as mobile. You functionally, you cannot do the same exercise or something like that. You might be at all sorts of different fitness levels as well. So on the DVD there, they always have 3 versions of the same exercise for, you know, beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And then the other thing is that you're working out with Olympic athletes too. Every single workout, there's at least one Olympic athlete in there that you're working out along with. So that's fun, you know. So. And it's fun too because you can actually see on there some of those Olympic athletes, they're failing doing the exercise, okay? So you know that you're getting a good exercise and that this is something that actually kicks your butt. So, but then they also have people on there 70 years old rocking it out and stuff and just going to town. So, but that's available for you guys today. If you don't have that resource, it's a great one. And then post-exercise, that's what I was talking about. So you guys, are smoothies good? Were the smoothies good? Yeah, so it's a great post-exercise meal because, like I said, I was talking about the protein. Your body's going to utilize it very, very quickly. So there's a basic recipe. There's some more recipes here in the book as well for different smoothies you can try. What we do in my home is we do smoothies probably at least 4 times a week. What we do though is basically this. So we always do milk. You can get grass-fed milk from Lakewinds. We do frozen berries, typically strawberries and blueberries. Spinach is a great one that you can add in the shake because you don't taste it. You really don't. You can dump so much spinach in there till the thing's completely stuffed and you're not going to taste it in there. And then the perfect protein is key. Not only is it really healthy for you, but it tastes really great too. So it really makes the smoothie taste amazing. And it's going to help you build that muscle, that lean muscle, and utilize it. So that's it. And so one of the things too I'll talk about that's different about this one compared to your conventional ones, because you can see a lot of, you know, if you ever see those ones like giant tubs like this, I mean, it's just ridiculous. And it's like $20 for this giant tub like this. And it's like, I mean, that is bad stuff. So, I mean, that's really, really low quality. So the difference is that, you know, a lot of the, almost every single commercial ones, a few of mistakes you're going to see that they make is one, it's coming from conventional cows, okay? So cows with antibiotics and hormone problems and sick cows fed corn and problems like that. So that is the source is unhealthy to begin with, okay? And then the other thing that they'll do is they'll use really high heats to process it. And when you subject proteins to heat, they denature, and it actually changes the protein, and it changes what you're getting. So the other thing then, so this one here, it's grass-fed, comes from grass-fed organic cows, and it's minimally processed, and it's cold process. The whole processing, it's never subjected to heat at all. The last and final thing then is the ingredients. When you look at a lot of commercial proteins, you're going to find that the ingredients, they have a lot of fillers in there. They sweeten it, or maybe even worse, these artificial sweeteners. So this is sweetened with stevia and has very minimal ingredients, and it actually has some probiotics in there as well. So one of the great things about whey as well, though, is it boosts your glutathione, which is your detoxifying agent. Okay, so but because it has the amino acid cysteine. Okay, very, very rich in that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I know that when you are pregnant or breastfeeding, you're not supposed to do this daily detox because the toxin can pass on. Can the same thing happen with that protein then?
No,
It raises that detox?
I've never seen any effect of that at all. So
okay.
You should be completely fine. Very, very safe there. So that's the daily detox has some more herbal things in it as well. You know, so that's a good kind of rule of thumb. When you're pregnant, I would stay away from any herbals, but any supplements or vitamin type things, you know, like things that are naturally occurring in food, you're typically going to be just fine. Herbals, though, you need to use a lot of caution with, yeah.
I have a question about heating up the protein when you blend it as a smoothie.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that's going to actually burn some of the...
Yeah, so like some of the high-powered blenders and stuff, they'll create some heat. And so, yeah, it's you're almost better using just a regular blender for it, you know. They have very, very cost-effective little hand mixer ones that you can get and just sticks right down into a cup and blends it up, and it's pretty simple. But yeah, for my family, you know, because I'm making it for a whole family, so we need something bigger to put it in. So it's honestly just a standard blender. It's nothing special about it. It's probably like $30-40 or something like that. So. But yeah, absolutely. If you heat it up as you're making it, yeah, that can denature the protein as well. We're going to move into another hormone called cortisol. Okay, cortisol is your stress hormone. What happens is when you have when you get stressed out, you know, but it can be other things as well. You can have stress on your body, you can have stress in your life and mental stress. But at any rate, when you have elevated levels of cortisol, what happens is it causes your appetite and hunger levels to increase, so you start to eat more. It increases your blood sugar levels. Okay, so cortisol causes you to release sugar into your blood. Okay, so again, that's actually going to have a feedback loop on the insulin. So you're really, really stressed, lots of sugar goes out, insulin gets pumped out, and your receptors get burned out again, you get more resistance. Okay, so it's really important to also balance out your cortisol. The other thing that you're going to have then is increased fat storage around the midsection. Cortisol encourages fat storage around the midsection. And then it also decreases your energy levels. Okay, it's taking energy from other resources or taking energy from your body and using it to do these other processes and things. So decreases your energy levels. So cortisol, it's there for a reason, okay? In moments of stress and in moments of emergency, you're supposed to have cortisol. That's a good normal response, okay? Cortisol is there for a reason, okay? What happens though, and where you get into a lot of problems, is when it's there at chronically high levels. Okay, so I'm going to teach you about the dynamic duo of balancing out your cortisol here. So ashwagandha is an ancient Indian herb that exhibits protective effects on the central nervous system. And what it does is it actually can reduce, ashwagandha has been found to be able to reduce your cortisol levels by up to 25%. In a study they found that. So ashwagandha, very, very powerful herb, ashwagandha, and it helps to balance out those cortisol levels, which again, you balance out those cortisol levels, now you're balancing out your hormones, you're increasing your results, you're going to have decreased appetite and feel fuller sooner. So that's ashwagandha, so that's an important herb. The other thing I want to tell you about then is the green coffee bean extract. So these people they did a study giving these people green coffee bean extract over a period of 22 weeks. what they found was they lost on average about 17 pounds. And then on top of that, it wasn't just the weight though, it was the body fat. They had an average loss of body fat of about 16%. Okay, so that's the green coffee bean extract, so that's huge there. So those are the dynamic duo, and so so that's how this Max Fit supplement came about, is to really help you to get that fat burning zone, decrease the cortisol levels, and get that under control. It's packed with the two things, the green coffee bean extract and the ashwagandha. So a lot of you, especially if you're really stressed, you have a high stress job or anything like that, this is one of them. I was really pretty surprised because I started taking this one and I didn't think it was going to have a huge effect on me, but it actually, man, I noticed within a couple weeks I had such higher energy levels because I was getting rid of that cortisol. It was balancing it out, and so I now had the motivation and energy to actually go and exercise, and so it made all that better. It made it easier as well. So that's a powerful, powerful supplement right there. But we have that here for you. Another great resource to add into your arsenal. So I want to tell you guys about Cliff Young, because when it comes down to it, you got to believe in yourself and you got to have the right mindset, right? That's number one. And so Cliff Young is a guy. So you guys familiar with what an ultra marathon is? It's like a 6.5 day race is actually what it is. It's like hundreds of miles you go. So that's your ultra marathon. And so they were having this ultra marathon out in Australia, and everybody's showing up. I mean, everybody's in like their 20s and their 30s and stuff like that. I mean, they have all the coaches and the training and all this stuff. And in walks this guy, Cliff Young here. He's 61 years old, and he shows up in like these, farmer clothes, overalls, and things like that. And he was wearing galoshes too, because he heard it was going to rain. Okay, he's ready to race. And so he shows up here, and they're like, Cliff, what are you doing here? He's like, well, I don't know. I always wanted to run a race. Like, wait a minute, so you've never ran a race before? No, I've never run a race before. And he's like, so wait, have you had any training or coaching or anything like that? No, Have you ever read like running magazines or anything like that? Do you know anything about? No, He's like, well, why did you show up here today? He's like, well, I always wanted to run a race, and this was free on my week. So he shows up like this, 61 years old, and so they get started, and everybody just starts taking off in this sprint, and the pack goes, and here's Cliff Young going off like this, and it actually ends up getting dubbed like the Cliff Young Shuffle, okay? And so he's going along, and Cliff had an advantage though, and so because he said, he's like, oh yeah, I was on the farm all the time. I'm a farmer. I chase my animals around all the time, and sometimes I'm out there all day long. So I figure I can do this. And so, but Cliff Young had an advantage. He believed that he could do it, but his other advantage was he never did have a coach. He never did have a trainer. He never did have the magazines or anything like that. So nobody ever told Cliff that in these races you run for 18 hours and then you sleep the other 6. Cliff didn't know that. So while everybody else was way far ahead of him, they stop and they rest, Cliff runs through the night. And he does that for days straight. He only stopped for bathroom breaks and food. That was it. Just real short breaks, and that was it. Runs through the night. Not only does he become the oldest person to ever win an ultra marathon like this, but he beats the world record by 12 hours. And so that's the difference, is that Cliff Young, nobody told him that he couldn't do it, and he just believed that he could. He knew he could, and he showed up and he just did it, okay? So that's the difference. You guys, more than anything, you got to believe, you got to know it's possible, When you watch those videos of, it's called People Are Awesome, right? All the people, they're flipping everywhere, doing all this, these amazing, amazing things that before somebody ever did it, we thought it was impossible. And then somebody comes along and they do it. It's like the 4-minute mile. For forever, people didn't think it could be done. And then until finally somebody broke that, like, honestly, there's people out there with science trying to prove that's physically impossible to do it, okay? And then somebody finally does it. They break that record and they break that barrier. And then right after that happens, guess what happens? A whole bunch of people follow up and they can do it because now they had the belief, they knew that they could do it, okay? So that's more than anything, is you got to believe in yourself. You got to know that you can do it, and you know that you can keep pushing forward. So But one of the other things I want to say, and this comes out to being involved in the events and stuff, finding, having somebody that's going through this with you, and having the support, is that one of the most important success factors, Jim Rohn here, he says, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, okay? If you show me the 5 people that you spend the most time with, okay, I know exactly who you are then. I can know exactly who you are because you're the average of those 5 people that you spend the most time with. And so it's about surrounding yourself with the people that are headed in the right direction. They're doing the same things here. And that's what this office is about, and that's what Maximized Living is about, is creating that community for you guys. A community where you're not the only person struggling this, because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but normal ain't working out, okay? That's not working out. So if you want to have radically different results in your life, you have to do something that's radically different, okay? If you want something that you've never had before, you're going to have to do something that you've never done, right? And so surrounding yourself with those people that are on the same track with you, they're moving with you, and that's what the events are about. That's what the support is about. So that's why you come to the Shop at the Dock. That's why you come to the Recipe Night. And that's why I put these things on for you guys, okay? We have Patient Appreciation Day. It's going to be Valens Spine Day on February 14th. Saturday, next Saturday, in the morning, we're going to have a party for you guys. We'll have food, we'll have games, we'll have fun, and raffles and prizes, and it's just a celebration, it's a party for you guys. So plug into all those events. The more you can surround yourself with those people, the more you're going to be reminded, oh yeah, I'm doing this, I'm moving forward, I'm making this change, and it's at the forefront of your mind. So, but that's how you get success. So this is just some other people that have found success by surrounding themselves with the Maximized Living culture. That's the power of surrounding yourself in this culture. And, like I said, it's principles and it works every single time. You just got to put the action out there. You've got to be committed and put yourself forward to it. So we got the challenge then here. kickoff, the start date is Monday, okay? And it's going to be 28 days. We'll have our way outs 28 days from now, and then the following week we're going to have a big celebration party. We're going to hand out the prizes, and we're going to get you your results, all those things, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So keep this guide handy here. This you should be looking at this, reading it, going over it every single day here, and this is going to be your key to success here as well. So be committed and make it happen. So another way to plug in, again, average of the five people that you surround yourself with, plug into the culture at another level. 2 things that you can do if you haven't done it yet. Go to the website and you just put your email in there, sign up for the newsletter. It's real simple. So, but honestly, one of the things that I post things to my Facebook page a lot, but you can plug in it no matter what social media outlet you have, whatever one's your favorite. Find us on there. We're on there. Google+, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of them. We're out there on there. Pinterest, but Facebook is probably where I'm the most active. So if you use Facebook, make sure you head there to the Law of Life Chiropractic page, click like, and follow every post that comes out there, because not only am I making announcements about the office, which is important, but I'm constantly putting out there articles on nutrition, fitness, vaccines, everything to be able to give you the support that you need to take your health to the next level, okay? Because I can only fit so much into a few hours here today. Truly becoming healthy and learning about how to do that is a lifelong process, okay? I've been doing this for years, but I'm still growing, I'm still learning new things, I'm still advancing, and I'm on this journey along with you guys, okay? So, but I find good stuff. This is what I do all day long, is I study this stuff, I read this stuff, and so I find the gems and I pass them on to you, okay? But otherwise, here's our upcoming events. Recipe Night, PAD, Shop with Doc, those are the big ones. So make sure you get signed up for that.